It's the Rob Carson Show. Are you ready to be podsmacked? Now, here's Rob Carson.
And here is episode number 84 of the Rob Carson Show podcast. Thank you for joining me, guys. I greatly appreciate it. Bless you. Thank you for being a part of the podcast today. Very excited because today I'm recording it on a Friday, by the way. And it is the 28th of April. I just did episode number 83. A little dyslexic thing there. With Jim Bohannon. He's a Hall of Fame broadcaster. And he is a syndicated talk show host. And he is my inspiration. You get a chance to check out 83. If you already have, thank you. Jim, I got to know when I was 28 years old. I was working at a rock station in Springfield, Missouri. And Jim used to work at the AM version of that station. It wasn't rock, it was talk. And that's one of the places he got to start in radio. And I got to know Jim because I'd have him in my studio, this rock show that I did, where I didn't have strippers in the studio. Oddly enough, we actually talked current events. we did some things that were kind of smart, a little edgy, but kind of smart. This is a long time ago. This is 1994. And Jim used to come and join me on the show. And it was a friendship that has lasted. I feel very blessed to know him. About a year ago, he came and actually wrote and read a tome to me on my 50th birthday. It was one of the most, the biggest honors I've had in my life because he's an amazing guy. Jim Bohannon, wonderful person. Glad to know him. Before we get into the subjects of the day, and we've got plenty of them to get to, going to talk a little bit about, we're going to talk a lot about Berkeley and Coulter and the canceled speech she was going to give and what this means for our country with regard to free speech, the most sacred piece of legislation in the history of mankind is the Bill of Rights. And number one is freedom of expression. And that these bastards at Berkeley shut this down, it cannot stand. So we'll get to that very shortly on the show. But Grass Monsters KC, they are a sponsor of the show. They are a power equipment company, whether you have a residential lawn or whether you are running a service that takes care of lawns. They have these American-made machines that are just quite simply stunning. The Dixie Chopper. Oh, my goodness, you got to see this thing. Dixie Chopper, a whole bunch of different lines, industrial mowers, commercial mowers. The Silver Eagle, the Excalibur, the Black Hawk. The Black Hawk is the new one. They can't keep them in stock. Unbelievable. And they've also got the Hustler. The Hustler line of mowers, those are made in Kansas. American-made quarter-inch steel. I mean, you won't believe it. And zero turning radius. You will never go back. You will never go back. Grass Monsters KC, that's Grass Monsters KC. Also, they're at 5520 Raytown Road if you're in the Kansas City area. Otherwise, you can find either one of these lines of mowers anywhere in the country. All right? GrassMonstersKC.com. Thank you for being a sponsor of the radio program. Okay, we'll start off with Fox News. What's going on with Fox News being sued up and down and right and left from a lot of different people. Jesse Waters now under fire because of a comment he made about Ivanka Trump and holding a microwave and a microphone. It'd be very hard to hold a microwave in a provocative fashion. Microphone in a provocative fashion. I'm not going to play the audio. That was a kind of a douche move on his part. Really stupid. Just sophomoric. Sophomoric. Look, be adults here, kids. But now they're being hit with a racial discrimination and harassment suit. And it's interesting because you're seeing a lot of people leave Fox News. And where did they go? It's like radio. You just kind of disappear, right? A guy named Kelly Wright. You see Kelly Wright? Now, I like Kelly Wright. Kelly Wright's kind of a fill-in guy, anchor. He's a black guy. He also sings. I like Kelly Wright. I think he's cool. I like his presence on Fox News, but he's no longer with the company. And now he's saying that he was racially harassed, I guess. Here is Kelly Wright's statement from earlier this week with regard to Fox News.
This hurts.
I don't know how much it hurts, okay? But honestly, this is about money, all right? So to say this hurts, okay, whatever. Okay, here we go.
This hurts.
Sure it does.
I am here reluctantly because I prefer sitting behind an anchor desk, delivering news to you, the viewer, reporting and delivering the news to help provide you with information, insight, and some analysis about developments and issues that we face every day in this country and globally. I am here reluctantly because I am not against any man or woman at Fox News. The truth is, I admire, I like, and even love the people who I work with and for, but I don't like what they do.
Okay.
The people that I work with at Fox News, my colleagues, and those you see behind me, are hardworking individuals who strive tirelessly every day to do their best, give their best, and be their best. And I am proud of their accomplishments.
But
let me make something very plain here. I, or the people you see with me, do not have any incentive from some left-wing conspirator
it's all money
group or some left-wing financier to try to destroy Fox News. The truth is, I believe Fox News will continue to grow and prosper regardless of any attempt by anyone to
and despite the massive settlement that I expect.
crush it. I believe that Fox will remain strong because there are millions of people who support the company in spirit and in trust. But when that trust is broken with various employees because of racial bias, something has to be done.
Okay. Now, apparently, what happened was Mr. O'Reilly, apparently, Bill O'Reilly, would not permit Mr. Wright to come on his show to discuss how America could focus on achieving racial reconciliation in the midst of growing racial hostility. Now, if you look at national news networks, frequently, if there's a story involving race, they send a black person out. You know, if there is a story about North Korea, they send an Asian person out. It's insulting. I think it's cliched and bad. So I'm going to side with Fox News on this. Bill O'Reilly didn't necessarily immediately go, oh, racial strife. Got to talk to the black guy. Got to send the black guy out there. I wonder what sort of racism Kelly Wright had to deal with. Here's Kelly Wright's lawyer, by the way, Doug Wigder.
Mr. Wright is the only black male anchor at Fox News. And one of only
Have you watched MSNBC? Have you seen any of the major networks? I mean, there's Lester Holt, but come on.
3 black anchors overall.
Whatever.
Now, I know earlier this week on his podcast,
Don Lemon on CNN. That's it.
Bill O'Reilly threatened that the truth is going to come out. And when it does, it's going to make you shake, I think is what he said. Well, here's the truth. Mr. O'Reilly would not permit Mr. Wright to come on his show to discuss how America could focus on achieving racial reconciliation in the midst of growing racial hostility.
Because the obvious choice is choosing a black guy. Maybe he felt just because you're a black guy doesn't mean you have an immediate perspective on race relations in the country. Sorry. It'd be like me having some sort of perspective on poverty in Appalachia as a white person. Really?
Instead, Mr. O'Reilly told Mr. Wright that he should call up Roger Ailes and Bill Shine and offer to sing the national anthem at the Fox News town hall.
Now, this is a guy who regularly sang when he did Fox and Friends, and sang the national anthem on Fox and Friends, by the way. And I believe also did it at sporting events, okay?
Rather than viewing Mr. Wright as the 2-time Emmy Award recipient he is,
and automatically assuming that because he's a black guy, he has to talk about race relations,
Mr. O'Reilly saw Mr. Wright as a singing entertainer.
Oh, shut up.
And when Mr. O'Reilly asked Mr. Wright to appear on his show to discuss the racial divide in Ferguson, Missouri, and suggested showing Beyond the Dream, a series of positive stories about the African American community. Mr. O'Reilly refused because it showed blacks in too positive a light, declaring that he, Mr. O'Reilly, knew Black America better than anyone.
Okay, really? All right. Sure. We will see. Really. I don't doubt that Fox News did some stuff, but to me, it sounds like it's piling on. I had mentioned this earlier, you watch Fox News. There's a reason why people watch Fox News. They get a conservative perspective, and they also get hot women. I'm just being honest. All right? Come on, guys. The 5, outnumbered. Look at Fox and Friends now. Is it Heather Nauert? Is she come on. There are no ugly women on Fox News, and there are no women who don't wear short skirts on Fox News. Doesn't mean you have to say that you won't move up in the organization unless you put out. That's wrong. But, I really get tired of women using sexuality and then being offended when you notice cleavage. As far as Kelly Wright, please. Sorry, Kelly. You just really, really dropped, in my opinion, of you. On the First Amendment front, and this is so troubling to me, the Berkeley protests in the 1960s, I don't know. I was a toddler. But let me just say this, and nobody else is willing to say it. Berkeley is supposedly the birthplace of free speech. Bullshit. Berkeley has always been the center of leftist free speech, and that supposedly has translated into it being the birthplace of free speech. Horse crap. You know what the birthplace of free speech is? First Amendment, folks. And the people who died defending it. Wasn't freaking Berkeley. Berkeley's always been a bat crap crazy leftist institution. But now they're not allowing the opposing view to show up. I was talking to Jim Bohannon. He goes, there are people there who don't remember. They're not even educated on Kristallnacht. That's what happened when Milo Yiannopoulos spoke there. Kristallnacht. They wrecked storefronts and burned books. Unbelievable. This crap must be tamped down. This is not roses and gun barrels. This is shutting down people for having a thought. And it must be stopped. This is Mussolini-esque. This is brown shirt Germany. Charles Krauthammer appeared on Fox last night, Tucker Carlson show. I love the show, by the way, talking about what's going on at Berkeley and what an affront it is to free speech.
But the danger here is that we're reaching a situation where the thugs threatening violence, basically fascist gangs, can shut down free speech.
Yes.
You talked about how we're now fundamentally divided in ways, even down to the foods we eat and what we read.
True.
But the one thing that used to unite left and right, even in the bitterest times in the 50s.
I'm going to tell you, I know a lot of people on the left, and I'm 51 years old. When I was in Minneapolis in my late 20s, I'd have dinner with leftists, and I would be shut down during conversation. This didn't start recently. The left has never been as open-minded as they'd like to say they are.
McCarthyism, people would say things like liberals would say, I don't support anything you say, but I'll defend your right to say it. That was a cliche. And
my friend Michael actually just mentioned that the other day, and I believe him, by the way. I believe him. But there are a lot of people in this country who do not feel that way. Thank you, Michael.
it almost became something that you would, it was so obvious that you could mock it. Where has that gone? If you can't have the government guaranteeing the safety of speakers, then we have lost one of the fundamental uniting elements.
It is. There's no more important piece of legislation in the history of mankind than the Bill of Rights, particularly the First Amendment. It is so gigantically epic and important. It cannot be discounted. You must share this with your children.
Of our society. If there's anything that unites us, believe in the First Amendment, believe in free speech. Whenever you talk about America, what makes us unique, we believe in liberty. It begins with religious liberty, and it also begins with free speech.
100%. 100%. That is fundamental. A little more from Charles Krauthammer.
The obligation of any authority right now is to say Ann Coulter can speak, and we will protect her. That's why you pay your taxes. That's why we have a police, and we are not going to allow a gang of thugs, really fascist gangs. This is how it started in Europe in the 20s and the 30s.
Thank you.
Fascist gangs would literally intimidate their opponents to the point where they became dominant. I don't think they're going to take over. This is not Mussolini. But nonetheless, it is very disturbing that in America, somebody cannot speak because there are thugs who threaten violence.
Now, we've got major networks that will avoid news coverage. Now, this is a form of fascism, but fortunately, it's not violent. All right? It is a form of fascism that the news media would avoid coverage of some things, avoid coverage of violence against right-leaning groups, avoid coverage of violence of Milo Yiannopoulos. I saw a piece in the New York Times the other day, and I mentioned this with Jim Bohannon earlier. They're equating the violence at Berkeley with right and left-wing groups are bringing violence and war to Berkeley. The right is not bringing war. They're bringing their opinions. The left is arming up and going after them. Here's a little bit more about apparently this guy named Mark Greene, who's run for office a few times, mayor of, I believe, San Francisco. And I want you to listen to this carefully, because you may be liberal and be against Ann Coulter. The tables can turn on you.
Mark Greene is a very smart guy.
Yes, he is.
He's had official positions in the government in New York City. I mean, he's run 60 times for mayor and lost, but that happens to
New
the
York
best
City.
of them.
New York City.
But, I mean, he was completely, he was pretending that we don't really have a president because he detests him.
And by the way, Maxine Waters is doing the same thing. And I've told you this. It's sedition.
He's a divider. I don't like him, so I don't have to respect his authority. This is nuts. This doesn't happen. This is a poisoning. And I think it's a sign of decadence. If the left will not stand up for the elementary principles, we have a president, he's elected, he has authority, legitimate authority, and we proceed from there. We have free speech. You should be able to speak and not be shut down. If we can't get agreement on those principles, then we really are in a dangerous situation.
Yeah, and that's why we have to do like we've done in the past, and we have to make the enemies of free speech our enemies. That's it. That's it. It has to be shut down. It has to be shut down. I don't know if you know this, Portland, Oregon. I mean, the leftist center of the country. They call it they keep Oregon or keep Portland weird. Or weird is liberal and stupid, whatever. Anyway, there was a big Avenue of Roses parade planned. Been canceled. Supposed to be on Saturday because a bunch of leftists are threatening a Republican group with violence. It's not just happening at Berkeley, folks. Here's a report from a news station in Portland.
Well, Brenda, the city says the mayor wants to try and work something out to bring this parade back, but we're told that might not happen because many businesses here, quite frankly, are really scared about broken windows.
Yeah, they don't want a night of broken glass. Thank you very much, leftists.
Becoming a target. But today, one car group member says no parade hurts their fundraising efforts for charity.
And that's also disappointing because we were planning on raising quite a bit of money for the charity, and so now it definitely will be impacted because there won't be as much of a volume of people.
We have to realize who are better armed, not only intellectually, but physically. All right? Let's just be completely honest. Those on the left who preach gun control and they preach give peace a chance, you are not prepared for what you are picking a fight with. I am not espousing violence here, but you bring violence, bitch, and it's going to come back to you, and it's going to be a lot uglier than you ever imagined. It happened at Berkeley. A couple weeks ago, there was a pro-Trump rally. And these thugs, these anarchists, black shirt anarchists with masks, were met with resistance, and they got their asses kicked. There was a pro and Coulter rally yesterday. The people who showed up did not bring weapons, but the left didn't show up because they got their asses handed to them. They got their asses handed to them. They should. I wanted you to listen to the just extraordinary hypocrisy of this doofus, W. Camus Bell, on Thursday, talking on CNN's Situation Room about how he's so proud of listening to people, listening to appointing. I want you, just the hypocrisy of his comments here are astounding. I want you to listen to this. How he starts and how he finishes. This is unbelievable hypocrisy.
Like, I try to read up on the issues a little bit, but I really try to go in listening. It's the big thing is just going in to listen to people's stories.
Nobody wants to listen to Ann Coulter at Berkeley.
And letting them talk. I really am a big fan of listening and letting people talk.
Okay, there you go. He says listening and letting people talk. I'm cool with it.
You know, I learned a long time ago that when you're feeling uncomfortable, that's actually your brain learning. So, like, a lot of times people think when you're uncomfortable, you should pull back or you should, like, ignore or you should interrupt or yell over. But when things get...
That's absurd on the face of it. Because that immediately assumes that the other person who you're arguing with has a valid position. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes you learn, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you learn that someone is enlightened. Sometimes you learn that they're a complete ignoramus. So I guess on that point, yeah, okay.
Uncomfortable, I learned, I'm actually experiencing something new that I've never experienced before.
Yeah, and you're a dumbass. Go ahead.
And that's why I think this country is what it is, because we're able to regularly have these uncomfortable conversations, and I think we just need to advocate for more of those.
But...
What do you think of this debate that's going on college campuses about allowing certain people to speak and not allowing others to speak? Talk a little bit about that.
Oh, wait. This is the guy who said he likes to learn, he likes to listen, and let other people talk, right?
Well, first of all, to be clear, if I should be honest, I do live in the People's Republic of Berkeley, California. So I am right there in the middle of the thing. That riot actually canceled our farmers market. So we were pretty upset about that.
Oh, my God! He didn't say what I just heard. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the farmers market being shut down? This is more earth-shattering than I even possibly imagined. Can you imagine people in Berkeley not being able to get their organic, hormone-free arugula? Oh, my God.
But the thing that I want to say is that that's not about free speech. The reason why people's speeches are being canceled is because it's a safety issue. If your free speech...
It's a safety issue, by the way.
...leads to hate speech and it makes people feel unsafe, then universities have the right to protect the kids on campus. So that's not about free speech. That's about safety.
Okay, it's about safety. It's about safety. Okay, now this is a guy who just said you have to listen. You have to shut up and listen. And because it's what he calls hate speech, that it must be shut down. What is hate speech? It's speech you disagree with. It's speech that, because your presence before anything is said, is immediately met with violence. It's saying that you are antagonizing the rebel, and they are responding with violence, and therefore you are wrong. Why don't you go smoke some of that arugula, you douche? Camus Bell, CNN's host, Camus Bell, who believes that you should be heard, you should shut up and listen, you will learn, unless it pisses some douchebags off and they threaten violence. Unbelievable. Honestly, it's stunning. This is that talk you're going to have with your children, right? This is one of those talks you're going to have with your children. Unbelievable. Make your kids realize how important at least the First Amendment is. Okay? Elizabeth Warren believes that, and she got all sorts of accolades for recognizing the obvious on CNN, that Ann Coulter should be allowed to speak.
Ann Coulter has just gotten a much bigger platform because someone tried to deny her a chance to speak.
Sure.
My view is let her speak and just don't show up. If you don't like it, don't show up.
Well, stating the obvious, she's suddenly a champion of the First Amendment. Okay, whatever. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Got a couple of their sound bites from Berkeley. This is a student that was being interviewed at Berkeley, and they arrested a few of these punk asses wearing masks, and they should arrest every one of them if they will not show their identity. And when they are unmasked, if they've committed some sort of act of violence or vandalism, your ass goes to jail. Federal charges, kids. Listen to this kid. Unreal.
Very clear. There's no battle. We didn't come for a fight.
This is, by the way, a member of a pro-Trump group.
We are not challenging Antifa. We're not challenging the people of Berkeley.
And it's called Antifa, by the way, not Antifa. Because it's against fascists, even though they're doing the obvious fascistic thing, which is breaking storefronts, showing up in masks and black shirts. And then you're going to hear from this doofus who supports the Antifa.
All we want is the chance to say what we believe, support our president, and then leave.
We won a great victory. They suffered a real defeat. They're in real disarray.
Never spoke.
They were not able to successfully bring her to campus.
They weren't able to bring Ann Coulter to campus to speak. No weapons, just words. This is a victory for them.
Because they really lack the numbers. They lack the support of the students on this campus, or even in the surrounding community. They didn't have the support to do that, and so that's why
many voices in the surrounding community saying, "Wait a minute, freedom of speech was born here. Why not let it ride?"
It wasn't born there. Freedom of speech was born with the First Amendment. Wasn't born in freaking Berkeley. How dare they? Who the hell thinks that free speech was born in Berkeley? Screw Berkeley. Screw you stupid, dope-smoking, hippie, freaking baby boomers.
Why not let them speak no matter how obnoxious you find them?
Again,
Berkeley's the free. Who died at Berkeley for free speech? Who died in what war at Berkeley for free speech? Shut the F up.
Again, I think it's a diversion. Our starting
You're
point,
not letting them speak. That is true.
But no, we said protest.
But you're declaring victory for them not being able to speak.
It is a victory because because we made clear that immigrant bashing is not welcome here.
Unbelievable. F Berkeley, cut off their funding. It's not the birthplace of free speech. I'm going to ask, that's just insulting. That's just insulting to people who lost their lives defending it. Revolutionary War. My God. But Berkeley's getting credit from some dumbasses showing up in a public park and doing what those who died for graced them with? Are you kidding me?
I think waving some American flags and parading around in body armor
the left is the one who shows up in body armor, by the way.
Will not be a success. They come to do harm. That's why they come.
No, they don't.
I think that's where
they just want to be heard. You jackass! Kick his ass out of school.
Question should be placed. They said
they're not going to be violent, but this is one group. I don't know if others are planning it, but I'm just asking if your group is planning to meet potential violence with violence, I guess.
Again, I think that the question has to be asked to them.
Bottom line, it's still not clear whether Berkeley will become a battlefield again.
The people showing up with the weapons are the people who are against free speech, and they are on the left side of the political equation. Unbelievable. It must be stopped, and it must be met with resistance, physical, intellectual, legal, whatever it takes. Maxine Waters is just off the deep end as far as Donald Trump is concerned. She is performing acts of sedition. She is an elected representative of the United States of America. She is openly revolting against the president of the United States, duly elected. And she was on CNN the other day, MSNBC with Chris Hayes, I'm sorry, talking about Jason Chaffetz. Jason Chaffetz is a representative from Utah, and he's decided that he's not going to seek re-election in 2018. Maxine Waters has a theory about this, and it's pretty much off the deep end, and it involves Russia and Trump.
Do you have an understanding of what you think it is that Congressman Chaffetz is doing?
No, I really don't. And there is a lot of speculation about what he's doing.
Take a drink of water. Take a drink of water.
Trying to position himself to run for higher office, and I think it's for governor. There are those who think
now this is getting into batshit mindless speculation. I think there's some misfiring of the synapse. I mean, she is almost 80 years old.
He, in some ways, have some connections to what is going on in the Ukraine and perhaps in Russia itself.
Again, perhaps. Nothing, no evidence whatsoever, but go ahead.
About all of this. I don't really know. I can't say, but he's...
Because you don't know anything, you dim-witted...
strange in the way...
Can't say what I was going to say.
...that he's conducting himself. And maybe...
The way he's conducting, okay.
...thinks that if he rolls out and points to the fact that something is going on with Glenn that he did not disclose, and this is criminal, I mean, he's violated...
Wow, can you get any more vague? I mean, really?
Federal law.
He may have actually spoken with space aliens. We just don't know.
That somehow this will raise him above maybe what connections he may have with the Kremlin. I don't know. But we need to keep an eye on him.
A little short circuit there.
But I should say, Congressman, I've not seen any evidence produced of that. I've encountered that speculation as well. So
yeah, we don't have any evidence at all.
But we'll look for the evidence. Representative Maxine Waters, thanks.
Yeah, we'll look for the evidence. I mean, we don't have any right now, but here you go. Thanks, Maxine. Thanks for joining us here, Maxine. It's a glorious day there. And yes, you are. Looney Tunes, in case you didn't get it. Da-da-da-da. Okay, there you go. That's Maxine Waters' new theme song. Oh, she had a brain fart the other day. I think it was yesterday on CNN. It was like, remember in Austin Powers when the fembots head started to explode? Listen to this.
Great trading relationship. They sell an awful lot of stuff to North Korea. And so this president is warning Trump, okay, don't start talking about preemptive strikes. Yeah. We want a diplomatic solution. Yeah. We do not want war in North Korea, Korea at all.
Yeah.
Great trading relationship.
Yeah.
They sell them.
Yeah, boy. Walmart is looking for some greeters. I'm just saying. Off the topic of politics, and Bill Nye has become political. Bill Nye, and we've heard a lot of talk radio talking about Bill Nye. Bill Nye, the science guy, had a show in the 90s. Was it on Nickelodeon? I don't know. I wasn't part of the thing. Bill Nye, the science guy, has an engineering degree. I think he's not really a science guy. He's an engineer. Anyway, he's got a new show on Netflix. And whereas he used to discuss science and, putting nitrogen gas in balloons and dropping rubber balls of bananas into frozen nitrogen, that sort of sciencey stuff you see on TV. He's moved on from that. The other day, he had a guest on it, the singer, who wanted to discuss transgenderism and identifying as a sex of your choice. Now, Bill Nye, the science guy in the 90s, talked about if you have an XX chromosome, you're a girl, XY, you're a boy. Right? Things have changed. I want you to listen to this. This is supposed to be geared toward children, although it's supposedly given a 14-year-old rating, probably the intelligence of the average Bill Nye viewer. Here he is, I guess, trying to be cool and then introducing this this idiotic music act talking about gender identity.
So, you guys, seriously, this next thing I feel is very special. This is a cool little...
It's like Dick Clark without a dick.
segment. You know this woman from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Please give it up for Rachel Bloom.
Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. I don't know if I saw that. Rachel Bloom, okay.
This one goes out to all the bipeds who identify as ladies. This world of ours is full of choice, but must I choose between only John or Joyce? All my options only hard or moist.
Are my options John or Joyce or hard or moist? Is she talking about cupcakes?
My vagina has its own voice.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, I was wrong on that.
Not vocal cords, a metaphorical voice. Sometimes I do a voice for my vagina. Please don't tell me I'm there.
I don't want to see that ventriloquist act. I really don't. Like, hi, how are you, vagina?
I'm fine. How are you? Who does that?
Yeah.
Cause my sex drive is so much more than either.
This is the worst rap I have ever heard.
Power bottom or a top off. Versatile love may have some butt stuff. It's
But
evolution, ain't nothing new. There's nothing taboo about a sex stew. Just add salt.
boy, this is the whitest, worst rap ever. I this is an insult to rap, let alone cupcakes.
Or Gerard Depardieu. French treasure. Cause my sex junk is so much more than either. If they're alive, I'll date them. Channing or Janitate them. I'm down for anything. Don't box in my box.
Don't box it. Wow, don't box in my box. Jeez. That's Bill Nye the Science Guy, folks. That's Bill Nye the Science Guy. Okay. Let me see, what else do we have here? Oh, I have some absurdity I'll get to real quick before we go. You know what trap shooting is? Any idea what trap shooting is? Trap shooting is when you go out and you throw a clay pigeon in the air, which is a thing that when I was a kid we used to make into candle holders for Boy Scouts or ashtrays for your parents. I know, it was a long time ago. Trap shooting team was told that it would be banned from the yearbook. Now, here's the reason. Now, you've got the basketball team. They have a basketball in their shot. You've got the track team. There's probably a guy holding a discus. You've got the other teams. Maybe the chess club has a chessboard there. High school trap shooting team, hell, they have guns. Well, apparently the trap shooting team were holding guns in the photo, and the school decided to reject them from the yearbook. They're not going to be part of the yearbook because they have guns. Why the hell do they have the trap shooting team? Rick Anderson, a parent, one of the kids says, I think it's ridiculous. Absolutely couldn't believe it. I think political correctness has gone way overboard. I don't know how else to put it. Just because there's a gun involved doesn't make it a dangerous sport, and they're not criminals. Now, you look at javelin tossing. That's throwing a spear, right? Huh? Idiotic. Just stupid. This is the idiocy of guns bad. That's it, because it ends right there. Guns bad, and that's it. That's about as deep as they get, the gun control advocates. Guns bad, that's it. Guns bad, end of argument. You can't talk anymore about it. Oh, Chelsea Clinton got another award, by the way. The City Harvest Award for commitment to ending hunger in New York City. You know why she's getting this big award during a speech at this big gala? Because apparently last year she volunteered for a day to pack grapefruits to be distributed to the poor in New York City. That's what she did. A couple of hours one day, she packed some grapefruits, did a photo op, and now she gets the this massive award, City Harvest Award for commitment on Tuesday. She should be committed. I agree. 100%. Okay, time for me to move on, guys. Thanks for joining me today. I greatly appreciate your audience. If you would please share with others, it would be a blessing if you would do that. Make sure to check it out on iTunes at The Rob Carson Show, The Rob Carson Show at iTunes. Also, we have the politically incorrect swag line. New designs be going up there. Just go to TeePublic, TeePublic.com, TeePublic.com. Look for Conservatees, Conservatees. All right? There's a lot of cool stuff there. Facebook, at Rob Carson, and of course, RobCarsonShow.com is the website. Have a glorious rest of your day, your night, whatever. And we will see you again for episode number 85 of the Carson Show podcast very soon.
Thanks for listening to The Rob Carson Show. Friend him on Facebook at Carson Show, on Twitter at Rob Carson, and on Instagram, I think Facebook and Twitter are enough for now. We'll see you soon.